Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of D-Town TV, the free show for DSLR shooters. My name is RC, and I'm here with the man himself, Mr. Scott Kelby. What's going on?
Hi, everybody.
How you doing, man?
Much.
What's going on?
You know.
Keeping busy?
Relaxing a lot.
Just doing nothing, just relaxing? Getting ready for sports season?
Yes, I am.
I have to say this very, very quickly because it's one of the things that I'm really, really happy about. You have been doing a lot of work in the sports realm, right? You've been doing a lot of photography, playing with it. Yeah. Football's your passion.
It is.
And we're sitting in New York, and all of a sudden, Scott just pretty much does this and just hits the floor. He's just like laying sideways. And on his phone, he's holding his phone. And he goes, look. So you actually have you have a seasoned credential.
Right.
To shoot the Tampa. Now, talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay.
So how does that work?
So what it is, I'm shooting for a wire service. Right. I had been shooting for South Creek Global Media, and they closed about 6 months ago. Right. I got picked up by Zuma Press. Right. And they assigned me to shoot the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the NFL team this year. And so, like during the year, I would shoot for a couple of teams here and there, and have some contacts and things. And I would get some assignments to shoot games and all. But having an NFL team in your backyard and being able to shoot them all year, it's 10 games, is very exciting for me. So I'll be able to shoot, of course, all the Bucs games, and being from Tampa Bay, I'm a Bucs fan, but I also get to shoot the Chargers are here this year, of course, the Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons, the Patriots are here next week. Right. And so, and tomorrow night, the Titans, shooting the Titans.
Oh, so yours? It's your first game tomorrow?
Yeah, it's your first game tomorrow night. Very excited, yeah. I love the Bucs.
And look, here's the thing, and he doesn't know that I'm doing this, because I just wanted to do it by myself. When you walked into the entire sports shooting thing, I mean, was it like you grab a camera and you just like people are like, "Oh, Scott Kelby, please move away"?
Oh, no. Like, well, nobody knows me in the sports world, So when I first started shooting, I wouldn't.
They're like, just come in.
Well, sometime on the sideline of another photographer would come over and say hi, but like when I applied to shoot for my first wire service, they didn't know me from anything, and I didn't want to tell them. I didn't give them any bio. I didn't want to go, hey, and I write books and I teach, because they don't care. Like, what does Zuma Press care that I do other stuff? They're just, are you going to turn the pictures on time? Are they going to be in focus?
And I think that there's a couple of different points to this. And one of the things that I'm very about, and I admire a lot, is the fact that you went out and you actually pounded the pavement, worked the games, did all of the stuff, and all of this stuff has resulted to now a credential. Now you're shooting the team that you wanted to.
I took all the cruddy assignments that nobody else wanted until. So, like for a number of seasons, South Creek had a full-time guy shooting the Bucs. So if he couldn't make it, then I got to go shoot in his place and shoot for them. But it was like 2 games a year at best.
And that's kind of how it works. I think that at the end of the day, I think if you can take an inspirational note out of all of that stuff is you got to work to the bottom, you can do it to the top, and just kind of pound at it for a little bit. The other thing that I like about it is that it gives you kind of a good perspective about how to be able to teach the things that you're doing, because you're out actually in the field. Half of you's in the field working and doing stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm required to do everything else. I mean, especially since they don't have any idea who I am. I have to upload photos, metadata, tag them, do everything else, and I have to shoot all the things that they assign me to do. So if they're like, we need to make sure you've got shots of the crowd, shots of fans, shots of cheerleaders, the flyover. Every single thing that you have to do, that anybody else has to do, I have to do as well.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool.
Okay,
congratulations on that. And that's the thing. It keeps the training that you see, at Kelby Training, the training that you see at Photoshop World, all of that stuff is steeped in actual real world experience. And I think that that's one of the things that I admire the most about that. So congratulations.
Thank you, I'm very excited.
Had to get that out of the way. Now, let's take a look at a couple of different things. Obviously, you could be watching this live. If you are, you're watching this at kelbytv.com/on-air. That's the place where you can kind of just watch the shows in advance, a couple of weeks ahead. It's a good place for you to catch up on the things that you're doing for the diehard fans. Now, it would be crazy not to mention this to you, but we are just a couple of weeks away from Photoshop World. Photoshop World, I know it's one of your favorite conferences. It's one of my favorite conferences. Make sure you take a look at it. It's photoshopworld.com. It's September 5th through 7th, 2012 at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center.
In Vegas?
In Vegas.
Vegas is fun?
I think it's fun. I'm going to try to see if I can do a Joel Grimes class, I got to tell you.
Oh, he's terrific.
I mean, I've seen his stuff on Kelby Training. I think it's really, really good, but I want to go see him live.
You know what I think is interesting about Photoshop World? A lot of people think, well, it's Photoshop World, so it's all Photoshop training. Yeah. And there's a ton of Photoshop training, because there's like 80 classes. But there are whole tracks where it's just photography, strictly just photography. You have people like Joe McNally teaching Flash, Moose Peterson, Joel, like you said, Joel Grimes,
you got Brian Hughes, you got Joe Glida. There's
all kinds of people that are doing just straight up photography, tracks of it. Dave Black is there. Dave Black's not doing a lot of Photoshop. No, he's doing
No.
But that's what I'm saying is you have Cliff Mountain, or you have people that are just teaching wedding photography and fashion photography and all, and it's just strictly.
And we also have video stuff as well. I mean, you have Richard Harrington doing video. You've got Rod Harlan doing video.
Social media tracks.
Social media tracks. I'm doing graphic design. Actually,
Lightroom.
I did a graphic design track at Photoshop World. You know what I called it? I called it, so you bought the Creative Suite, now what?
Ah.
So it's a bunch of, you know, here's how you use different things. So anyway, you're going to find something that's going to work for you, and it's going to be an invaluable experience. Make sure you go to photoshopworld.com. That's the place for you to check it all out. Now, I just wanted to show something real quick before we go over to the Moose tip. I've been playing with something from a company called Visual Supply Company, and so far, I am really digging my experience. So this is the website, visualsupplycompany.com, and they sell a set of presets that they do with custom profiles.
Oh, I know these guys.
Yeah. It's really, really neat stuff.
Oh, you're the one that showed me these guys.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like,
so
why do I know
here
that?
you have these film packs, and you have these film packs for Lightroom and for Camera Raw. The best way to explain it is just to kind of say they've worked with custom camera profiles. It's not just a set of presets. They have profiles that are embedded that you can augment your Lightroom experience with. I'm just going to do a very, very quick thing here. I have a picture of my daughter. She's just kind of hanging out, and I'm in the Develop module. And basically, the way it works is you're going to come over here to the preset section, and inside of the preset section you'll see that now you have a bunch of other presets in addition to the regular Lightroom presets that you have. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come down to the Nikon one, and you'll see that there's a bunch of different film presets. Now, just to kind of keep things, just to show you something here a little bit, I'm going to go to the calibration tab, and you'll see that this is set over here to Camera Vivid. So now over on this side, I'm going to go ahead and select Fuji, and you'll see that my profile is set to a Fuji profile. So you have all of these different types of effects, and it kind of gives you a new jump point for how to play with photographic effects. And it's one of those things where I've been playing a lot on Photoshop and post-processing and things like that, but I kind of like the fact that I can just go over here. Matt originally started me with that with Lightroom Killer Tips, where he was doing a lot of presets. So it's one of those things that I hadn't done before, and now I find myself doing more and more and more, and I'm kind of digging, just clicking and looking, going with it. So,
well, what's nice too with these is, you know, each film had its own look. Like, you know, Fuji Velvia had a special look that landscape photographers liked. It actually had a look, and people would buy the film because of that look. And so to be able to get similar looks with a digital photo, and a lot of times they add, you know, a little bit of noise or grain or things like that to help the effect look more film-like.
Right.
But that's what's cool about those. If you want to emulate those looks.
Yeah, so I thought it was good. Check them out. Website right here is visualsupply.co/film. I'm going to zoom in here so you can take a look at it. That's the website. Give them a try. Pretty decent stuff. Not bad.
Cool. Yeah, I liked it. I messed around with it.
Now,
after you told me.
Let's take a look at this. Moose has got a great tip on what kinds of things to bring, what kind of gears to bring to a wildlife shoot. Take a look.
Bring a gun. No.
Hey folks, Moose here with some more information that might help you with your photography. Now, you know, I've got all these things like on Kelby Training, you see me at Photoshop World, all these different things, and typically I'm there with a camera body. I have it in my hand. I always have a camera with me. But when I'm working on a project, okay, and I'm leaving from my home and going to that project, what's that process? Well, first and foremost, okay, the bag that goes with me, okay, is got in it the gear that I know I have to have once I get on site. In other words, I need, if I'm going to go photograph big game, I'm going to have my 200 or 400, okay, my D3X. It's going to be in my bag. It'll be with me on the plane. It'll be with me in the car. I have it all the time. That's the case. Any bad things happen, I at least can function for the first day or two. After that, okay, other peripherals that might be needed will be coming either in my check bags or in a big Pelican case I ship FedEx. So getting gear from my home to the site, okay, is basically that simple. It's just, and personally, especially as I get older, I want to carry less, okay? So that is like, I don't want to carry a bunch of stuff. I want specific tools for that job, and sometimes with that, things get left behind. And that's when you learn to be a problem solver. Now let's say, okay, I've gotten to the location and I'm ready to go out and shoot. When I leave the vehicle, the snow machine, the helicopter, whatever it is, the camera bag doesn't go with me. What do I take with me is the specific tools I need for that moment. If I'm going to shoot the 200 or 400, that's going to go with me. I'll have a second body on my shoulder with a generic lens. So if I'm going to I see a grand landscape, I might take the 18 millimeter. If I'm going to be photographing and working with biologists, I'm going to photograph people, it might be the 24 to 70. So with just two bodies, two lenses, I take off and shoot. Why is that? Well, one, more gear just tends to get in the way more often. Okay, it just bumps into thing, makes you heavy, slow down. At the end of the day, makes you more tired. Two, if I have just a couple tools, how many choices do I have to pick up to make the photograph? It makes this decision process a whole lot faster, and in that speed, I tend to get more photographs. And lastly, I want to stay focused on one thing. Same thing every time I go out shooting, and that's the subject. So my aperture priority is so I stay focused on the subject. Exposure compensation, stay focused on the subject. The gear, stay focused on the subject. Because as soon as I take my eye away, I know there's a possibility I'm going to miss the picture. And there's probably no worse feeling than that. So I have a whole chapter about gear in Captured, written like you've never, ever read about gear before. Pick it up. I'm sure it will help your photography down the road.
You know, photographer talk. We were sitting here while that's actually taping. We get into a big conversation. What kind of lenses Moose is having there? Is that
a 300?
No, it's a 200, 400. That's a long barrel. And it's, so anyway, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we've got tons more things that we want to talk to you about. You've got a tip on sports. I've got to show you a website. More things to stick around for. Take care.
Hi, my name's Joe McNally for Kelby Training. I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia. In this class, we capture dancers in the air at the peak of their flight. We ask them to create their most important, their most powerful move, and I'm going to show you how to get that move and photograph it with big flash, small flash, from the simple to the complex. Here, I can show you right here. Here's Gilbert. He's an amazing dancer. He just did this fantastic leap, but he's not the best dancer we worked with. Here's the best dancer we worked with. Come check out my class, Dancers in Flight, Beautiful Light, at kelbytraining.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to D-Town TV, the 3D show for DSLR shooters and the non-moving table. And that threw me off. I'm sitting there and I'm like, where'd it go?
I know, I noticed it was moving and I was like, I'm just going to slide it to the right. See if RC notices. You did really good there.
I tried really hard. I was just like, it's moving, dear Lord. Yeah. But anyway, this show is brought to you by Kelby Training. Now, if you like all of the stuff that we do here, we do it in really small increments. You want to just watch it everywhere, wherever you go. iPad, on your computer, in your car, driving, while you're doing
driving, in front of your windshield.
In front of your windshield. Just mount it right there, kelbytraining.com. Take a look. This is the website. These are the courses right here. You can go to all courses. You can search by instructor. If you want to see stuff on photography, click on here. I guarantee you, you will find something that will take your photography to the next level here. It is just some amazing, amazing work by some of the world's best instructors. So you were just watching that commercial from Dancers in Flight. You have Joe McNally's stuff. He's got a double class.
People are raving about that class.
You know, it's phenomenal. But you know what? I've really been enjoying your shooting travel.
I love coming on this show, RC.
I've enjoyed it. I'm telling you, I've enjoyed it.
I love coming on.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good, man. And it's one of those things where if you're doing sports photography, you're doing dance, if you're doing creative composition, if you're doing light painting, all of that stuff we've found there. Guys,
Eric Fallon's class on
he is tearing it up. He is tearing it up.
It's
doing really, really well. Make sure you take a look at that. That's the place for you to get all of the training that you're going to need for photography. Yeah.
Now, hey, it's $199 a year, but you can pay monthly, 24 something a month. Cheap.
Very, very cool. Now, do you have
cheaper than dinner at Chili's?
Cheaper than dinner at Chili's.
And dinner at Chili's is not very expensive. I know, because it's like my daughter's favorite place to eat.
Now you got me thinking about Chili's.
I know, sorry. Bad.
Anyway, so we have a Peach book deal as well. We have a Canon 5D Mark III book by Barry and X Perello. We absolutely love a Barry and X. And this was $23.99, and now it is $14.39. Go to peachbit.com/KelbyTV.
But you have to say it like you Barry and X. It's a Barry.
It's a Barry and X. He has that NPR radio.
He does. He's got that.
So make sure you go to peachbit.com/KelbyTV, and you want to make sure that you enter in the code KelbyTV. So that will get you a Barry and X's brand new book at 40% off, which I think is really good. Now, quick tip. Let's go to Rick Sammon.
Rick
Sammon's got some stuff on composition. You want to take a look at this.
Hey, Rick Sammon here for D-Town in Dunedin, Florida with a couple of quick tips on composition. You know, we see the world in 3 dimensions, height, width, and depth, but our cameras only see 2, height and width. So it's our job as a photographer when we're composing a scene to try to create a sense of depth and dimension in our picture. Now, first I was over here, I shot the benches, I shot the flagpole, and the yachts all in the same line. It looked kind of boring. Just by moving 3 feet over here, I was able to isolate the different elements in the scene. And that's a good composition tip. When you have several elements in the scene, isolate the different elements. So I isolated the palm tree over there, I isolated the flagpole, I isolated the benches, and I isolated the boat. And here's another tip. It's a composition tip. It sounds kind of funny, but it's a good way to remember it. Don't amputate important elements in the scene. Like before I was here, just to illustrate this point, before actually you joined me, I chopped off, I amputated the top of the flagpole and I amputated the bottom of the bench. Kind of makes the picture look a little funny. So by zooming out a little more, I was able to ground the bench right to the ground, and I was able to get the nice little flagpole up there with a little ball on top of the flagpole. So don't amputate. This is especially true when it comes to people, important elements in the scene. Well, for more tips on composition, check out my brand new class on Kelby Training, Composition, the Strongest Way of Seeing. I'll catch you there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rick Sammon. Cool composition tips, things you need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
However, you have a sports tip.
I have a sports tip.
What do you got?
Okay, well, I have tips today on camera settings.
Okay.
And because it's just getting into football season.
Okay.
And next week I'm going to do lenses.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start off with camera settings. One of the things about shooting sports, if you're shooting in the day, it is one of the easiest things to shoot. Mm-hmm. Because you will set your camera settings at the beginning of the game and you won't touch them again. Okay. So I will generally shoot in aperture priority mode, and for daylight this is perfect. So step 1 is to switch your camera to A or AV mode. Okay. So you're setting your aperture and your camera's going to take care of your shutter speed. Okay. Then you're going to, and this is like before the game, then you're going to switch your aperture to the lowest number that your camera will do. Now, the lower the number, the better in this case. So if you can get it down to 2.8 would be great. You're not going to really be shooting football with like an 85-1.4 or something. So more likely you're going to be shooting a 200 to 400. We'll talk about lenses next week. But basically, let's say that your camera goes to f4 or f2.8. Okay. So you're in aperture priority mode. You set it to the lowest number your camera will go to as far as your lens goes. So either f2.8 or f4. Okay. Very cool. You set your ISO at the lowest, because you're shooting in the middle of the day. Okay, fair enough. So on most Nikons it's 200 ISO, on most Canons it's 100 ISO. Okay. You set that before you walk on the field. Okay, low aperture, 200 ISO. Got it. Never have to touch them again. Just fire all day long. Just, oops, that's just set off the self-timer, don't do that. And now 2.8, why 2.8? Why 2.8? Well, 2.8 is going to give you it's going to help separate the player from the background. Okay. So if you're, and by the way, this same settings hold true if you're shooting outdoor soccer or outdoor volleyball or outdoor whatever you're shooting. You want to be able to get some separation, because if the player blends into the background, it really just becomes kind of a jumbled mess and it looks like a snapshot. So what you're going to want to do is you set those settings, you're going to want to zoom in fairly tight, because it's not just the settings in the camera that create a shallow depth of field, it's also zooming in. Because I could take a wide angle lens, set it at 2.8 and shoot, everything will be in focus. Right? I mean, everything would be, you go, why is everything in focus? Well, because you do need to zoom in. It's a combination of zooming in and the low aperture number that gives you that soft, out of focus background, and it really visually separates the player. And I know that you were just kind of joking about it, but if we look over there at that one section in the far the lower left of that picture. Oh yeah, like right here. So there's a picture of Aaron Rodgers. I took this at the NFC Championship game. Not last year, year before last. Right. And you're just getting in on the detail. The moment is him. Yeah, it's him. But if you'll notice, the player beside him is fairly in focus. The player that's rushing in is out of focus, and the crowd is way, way out of focus. Right. And that's from those two settings, zooming in close and doing that. So that's the nice thing about it. Shooting in the day is very, very easy. And here's why. Because in the daytime, you want a shutter speed of 1/1000th of a second or higher. With those settings, in daylight, even on a cloudy day, you probably won't have any problem at all. You'll look through your viewfinder, you'll be looking in here, and you'll look in there and you'll go, wow, I'm at 1/4000th of a second, or I'm at 1/8000th of a second. You will have no problem in daylight. However, everything changes for a night game.
Really?
That's where the nightmare begins. Because shooting in the day, those 3 settings, have a great day. Because you'll almost always be, almost undoubtedly, at 1/1000th of a second or faster, which means all the action will be frozen. You like that? All the action will be frozen, and everything will be sharp. If you shoot at night, under any lighting conditions, do you know that when I have to shoot an NFL game under NFL lighting, which is very, very bright lighting, I generally have to shoot at a minimum of 1600 ISO at an NFL stadium to as high as 4000 ISO based on the particular stadium. So that's where having a camera that shoots at a high ISO is so important. If you go to a pro game, you'll see all the photographers there shooting cameras that, like the Nikon D4, the D3S, or D3 or something like that, or the high-end Canons, because they're going to have to shoot at high shutter speeds. They're going to have to shoot at high ISOs to get their shutter speed to at least 1/1000th of a second. Yeah. So daytime, if you say, I don't worry about it, I always shoot my kids in the day, you're set. Shoot just 3 settings. If at night, one thing has to change. You have to now worry about your shutter speed. You have to constantly monitor your shutter speed, and you're going to have to raise your ISO. Now, if on an NFL stadium, with the incredibly bright lights that they have, hundreds of lights in the field at one time, I have to shoot at f2.8 at 1600 to 2000. At your local high school game, you're going to have to shoot at 4000 or maybe 6400.
Right.
It's going to create some grainy photos.
But you're going to get a great moment.
But here's the good news. The good news is this. The only people that care about grainy photos are other photographers. We care, but you're not going to have a parent go, I love this shot, but I noticed that you have some high ISO noise in the blue channel. They're not going to care. And a great way to really embrace this is, the next time you're at the grocery store, pick up Sports Illustrated. And in the front of Sports Illustrated, you will see some of the most amazing shots. That starts off with a section of incredible photographs. And you will also see some incredibly noisy photographs. But you know what? The audience for Sports Illustrated are not photographers. They're sports fans, who the most important thing is seeing the moment. And like the moments that are captured.
Like, take a look at here. That's the shot.
Oh, that's just a closer up of the.
That's the shot.
Aaron Rodgers in midair getting flushed out of the pocket there.
So, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking now. This is obviously NFL stuff, but all of this stuff applies. Matter of fact, you have a class on Kelby Training that talks about all of this stuff.
I do. And I'm teaching a class at Photoshop World.
And you're also teaching a class at Photoshop World. So if you want to take all of these techniques and apply them to something that you're shooting locally, Photoshop World, Kelby Training, and all of the stuff that Scott's talked about right now. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we have a contest and a website that we want you to watch. So stay tuned.
I can't wait to do this again.
Oh, welcome back to another episode of D-Town TV. Scott, Kelby, RC. I'm just actually, this is funny. We're playing with this, and I'm just kind of looking at the changes that you've made to your portfolio. Which
Yeah, I switched to SmugMug.
I was like, wow, I hadn't seen this. This is actually pretty cool. But here, so you have, let's just go ahead and just go through this real quick. Just do. But all of the stuff scrolls sideways, right? So it makes it very tablet friendly, I think. All your categories sit here at the top. And now, all of this is customized, right?
Yeah, so when you go to SmugMug, well, here's what's cool about it. They have you can ask for a custom designer, you know, they'll charge you, but you ask for a custom designer, they'll custom design it, and they show you a bunch of templates and say, this is kind of like what I want. But what's nice is you still update the site like any other like SmugMug site. So you just go, you see your same regular SmugMug default page, you know, with just icons. And so if I want to change a photo out there, I just upload it and boom, it's done in 2 seconds. But then it applies to this look, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I still remember this guy. That was Orlando.
Orlando, yeah, that guy.
He showed up with a shirt, and then all of a sudden he was just like, hey, can you take your shirt off? And he literally looked like a cartoon character.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's what I look like normally.
That's what I look like a lot. It's like looking in a mirror.
It really is. But anyway. There's a website that I want you to take a look at real quick over here. So just do this. Go to bit.ly/Sam Spratt. Right? That's a good place for you to go. That is a Scott Kelby blog post from Mr. Sam Spratt. This is a guy that does a lot of illustration.
He's terrific.
He just has some beautiful, beautiful work.
Really good at Photoshop.
So he talks a little bit about how to be able to create interesting images and merges a lot of artwork into it. So if you want to look at some sort of creative inspiration, this is a great place for you to take a look at it. So we're very, very happy that he joined us.
Hey, can we scroll down just a little bit? Look, RC, it's like looking in a mirror.
There we go.
See,
I'm all set.
There you go.
That's a little bit better.
Okay, sorry. I couldn't help myself.
But anyway, so make sure you take a look at the post. He's got some great, great, great work here. And if you're looking for some art inspiration, this is a place to go. Now, let's see. It's contest time. So what we want to do is we want to give away 3 things. First thing, HDR4X Pro from Nik Software. This is a software that I love to use.
I don't know which camera to look at. Oh, I'll look at that one over there.
If you want to be able to take a look at your HDR images at the next level, this is a great piece of software for you to use. It's from Nik Software, the company that we know and love. You're also going to get Rogue gels. Rogue gels are
awesome.
Rouge.
Rogue.
If you have a flash and your flash has a grid, this is a great thing for you to do to kind of give accent colors and things like that for any type of your strobist work. We'll give you one away as well. The last thing, I'll hold it really close and very still, eye stabilizer. So this will go ahead and attach to your standard tripod, and you can put your phone on it.
Yeah, it's like turns a giant $750 Gitso tripod into an iPhone tripod.
There you go.
For just a little more money.
Just slightly more, and then you're all done.
Yeah, you don't have to use it.
But anyway, if we want to follow more stuff about what's going on with you, best place to catch you?
ScottKelby.com or at G+, just Scott G+, letter G+. .com.
Nice, very, very cool.
PLUS.
If you guys want to follow me, make sure you follow me at aboutrc.com, or you can follow me at rcgplus.com. Guys, thank you so much for stopping by.
RC, did you mention the Worldwide Photo Walk?
No!
We launched it. We launched the Worldwide Photo Walk this week.
We got 2 things. Wait. We gotta do this. Hold up.
While he's doing this, the official date is Saturday, October 13th. Yes. It's the world's largest photographic event. Last year we had over 1,100 cities around the world.
Yep.
And it's free, completely free to participate. Just go to this website, Worldwide Photo Walk.
This is going to be amazing. This is going to be an event. It's going to be a big, big event. Look, we just told you 1,100 cities, right? Last year, take a look at this. Over 346, it is day 2. Day 2. This thing is going to be huge.
Huge. So join us. It's fun. It's a blast. It's free.
Make sure you jump in. It's free. It's a great place for you to attend.
And if you're like, what is a photo walk? The video on the front page tells you. Here's what a photo walk is.
WorldwidePhotoWalk.com.
Worldwide.
I have to remember one more thing I got to do.
He's the producer
one more time.
He's the producer.
Oh, how do you enter the contest? How do you enter the contest?
I'm not sure.
Go to kelbytv.com/DTownTV. That's the URL. Make sure that you go into the episode of your choice. Leave a name, leave an email, leave a website. Tell us what you think about the show. and one of you guys is going to be able to win. You can be watching this on YouTube, you can be watching this on Bitly, you can be watching this on Facebook, you can be watching this on Google+. However, our producers can only pick from one spot. That's the place that we chose to pick. Make sure you leave a comment. Good luck to all of you. Now, the last thing also while we're on the contest thing, Epson. If you go to kelbytraining.com/Epson, this is the last day, people. After today, no more. You want to win an Epson R3000 printer? This is where you do it. Go to this website, fill it. It's pretty straightforward. All you got to do is fill in your information, and you're done. You can win an Epson R3000 printer.
It's a beautiful printer. 13 by 19 prints.
Yep.
Gorgeous.
Awesome. Look, if you look right here, there's a section, video review. I did like a 5-part series on this printer because it's a great printer to have in the house. It's a great, great, great printer. But anyway, last day to be able to do that contest. We have the photo walk and you have the contest for here. Lots of information. We will talk to you guys next week. Take care, everybody.
See you.
Mm-hmm.